ladies and gentlemen, we're going to forego everything that we normally do for this channel today because we're going to have a little bit of a debate here. I got a guest with me. Eva, would you go ahead and tell us about yourself a little bit?
What's up? I'm Evil. That's my gamer tag. Yeah, I'm a Democrat, live in California. I sometimes volunteer with Democrats, and I saw this video about the SPLC lawsuit that I disagreed with heavily. So here I am, disagreeing with it live in front of you all.
And I will say this. I apologize. I came at y'all hard with that shit. Usually people do troll. They don't know what's really going on and everything like that. It might have been a dick. I apologize. I will give you your credit for actually coming up and putting yourself out there and saying, "Hey, look, this is what I actually think. This is more often than what we actually do need." So I will. I'll forego being that dick for
It's
this.
okay. You can be a dick. It's cool. It's cool.
No,
I'm ready for it.
I, I
I
just
think we're going to disagree a lot on it. Like it's
no.
going to be some serious. Well, I don't think we're going to agree at the end of this, to be honest.
On the whole thing, no. But on certain aspects, I do kind of agree. It is a little bit weak from what you were kind of trying to describe to me, but we'll get into this here as far as that goes. Right now, let's just go ahead and bring up the video here. Okay, now this is Todd Blanche and Cash Patel. This is their press conference on the SPLC indictment here. Not gonna listen to the whole thing here. We're just gonna go through the main part of it from what they're saying, and we'll talk about it as we go along.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Oh,
Today, a few minutes
let's
ago,
turn down my head.
in the Middle District of Alabama, a grand jury returned an 11-count indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. According to the charges in the indictment, the SPLC is a nonprofit entity that purports to fight white supremacy and racial hatred by reporting on extremist groups and conducting research to inform law enforcement groups with the goal of dismantling these groups. As the indictment describes, the
That's their side.
SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose by paying sources to stoke racial hatred. The indictment describes this conduct in detail, but one troubling example is that the SPLC was paying a member of the leadership group that planned the Unite the Right protest in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017 that resulted in the death of one person and injured dozens more.
Hold
This
on.
particular
You remember that, right?
Yeah, the guy who ran over the girl, or it was a guy or girl, I forget. But I remember seeing the video. Yeah, he just fucking through the crowd.
You're
Yeah.
right. The whole Charlottesville innocent incident that started the whole damn thing, as far as the good people on both sides claim.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you want to argue that claim or
Yeah,
because we
they
can if you
said it
want?
was good people on both sides, and
Yeah.
everybody was saying, "Oh, he's talking about the Nazis." But
Well, who?
the media cut out the whole part right after that where he said, "And I'm not talking about the neo Nazis or white supremacists because they should be condemned totally."
Okay, that's fine that he said that at the end, but who was the side that? Who were the two sides basically? You had counter
He was talking
protesters.
about the people who were protesting for Charlottesville in a peaceful, are protesting against the incident that happened in a peaceful way, and the people who were there counter protesting in a peaceful way. He
And
was
what
not
was that?
talking about the people coming out of the bushes with the tiki torches.
Wait, who was it that organized that rally in the first place? Though he said it in the clip. Unite the Right. That's one
Yes.
of the organizations they're against.
Yes.
So if that's one of the sides, how is there good people on both sides? If one of the sides is a confirmed hate group, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
A confirmed hate group by who? SPLC?
Apparently, them and the FBI right now, because they're saying that they're a hate group that were getting money from the SPLC.
Um, yeah, the KKK Unite the Right that is actually openly. Okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying with that. And okay, And that is fine, but he wasn't talking about them. And that's what he was saying. I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and white supremacists that were coming out of the woodworks with the tiki torches.
I think every speech from Trump is going to have some kind of disclaimer that I think everyone kind of knows he doesn't really mean.
Well, that's because it's been lied about a lot.
Has it been though? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want? We can debate the Unite the Right rally thing, or we can just keep going. It's up to you.
Okay.
Particular person being paid by the SPLC allegedly received approximately $270,000 over the course of 8 years. In total, according to the indictment, between 2014 and 2023, SPLC paid at least $3 million to 8 individuals at least. These individuals were affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan, United Klans of America, National Socialist Movement, Aryan Nations Affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, the Nationalist Socialist Party of America, Nazis, and the American Front. Now, as the indictment lays out, after SPLC paid members of these extremist groups, it created work product that reported on these activities that the members participated in or contributed to. And to that end, it was doing the exact opposite of what it's told its donors it was doing. Not dismantling extremism, but funding it. To carry out this scheme, SPLC created bank accounts in the name of at least 5 completely fictitious organizations that had no bona fide employees or legitimate business purpose. The money was passed from SPLC to one sham account to a second sham account and then loaded onto prepaid cards to give to the members of the extremist groups. This was designed to shield the source of those funds, and because of this, SPLC is also charged with one count, as I said earlier, of conspiracy to commit money laundering. In conclusion, I want to thank the acting U.S. Attorney in the Middle District of Alabama, Kevin Davidson, who's in his district right now and not able to be with us, for bringing this important case.
And we can skip a little bit ahead here. Hold on.
Along with the FDN. This investigation is ongoing, and I'd like to ask Director Patel to say a few words as well.
Okay.
Thank you, General Blanche. What we're here today is to announce what the General just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the General laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front. In at least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over $3 million.
This guy's long-winded.
Furthermore, our investigation revealed that the Southern Poverty Law Center,
kind of are.
on top of perpetuating
a little bit
this widespread.
But yeah, we can kind of get it here. Let's go into the actual indictment.
Yeah, I feel like they covered a lot of the main points in the indictment so far. So.
Right.
But
okay, so Southern Poverty Law Center state of mission included dismantling of white supremacy and confronting hate across the country. However, unbeknownst to donors, some of their money donated was because of funding racist groups like the Ku Klux Klan, Aryan Nation, National Alliance. Okay, you say it's weak because they're using informants?
Yeah, so if you look, I don't know if you want to put it on screen, but on that first page,
I forgot to click the button. My bad.
Oh, you're good. Somewhere on that first page, when I read it the first time, I remember seeing they even called them informants on this first page. So the law that they're citing
SPL's
is,
paid informants engaged in active promotion of racist groups at the same
yeah,
time that the SPLC was denouncing the same groups on its website.
yeah, but doesn't it follows that if you are an organization that's committed to fighting specific racist organizations, right? Like if your focus is going after the KKK, it makes sense that you would pay informants so that you know what they're doing, so you can get ahead of it, so you can stop them from doing whatever the heck they're doing. That's logical to me. That makes sense.
But creating shell companies for the leadership to get
Yeah,
like
well, I mean, the
paid
KKK.
in reloadable cards, and
Yeah,
I can't
well,
really say that's informant.
yeah, well, hold on. If you go down to let me see if I can find it on my own. I think on page it starts on 3 where they start mentioning each individual informant. One of these informants was with the group that did the Birmingham school bombing.
These
Like,
field sources known as Fs. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so these are organizations where you don't want to be the snitch because your life is in danger. And we can even go back to, I think it was in like August of 2020 when Trump was still president. Remember, I don't know if you remember, I think it was Michigan. There was those 2 guys who were going to kidnap the governor and they stopped it before it happened. That was done through this informant system that the
You,
SPLC had. The FBI
yeah,
worked with the
that
SPLC
was
to
Gretchen
informants.
Whitmer.
Yeah,
You do realize that most of the people that were involved, as a matter of fact, it was the entire feds that were involved. 2/3 of that was federal.
I don't believe that.
That's
I,
actually in the cases. Yes. The 2
of
guys who went
informants,
to
people who
jail.
wait, hold
The
up,
two,
of people who
yes, the 2
flipped.
guys who actually went to jail for that. The only 2 that actually went to jail for that had a mistrial because it came out that they were government agents.
That the people who were convicted were government agents.
No, the people who were making the group, the people who formed the idea, were government agents.
Okay.
2/3 of them were government agents that were forming this plot.
Yeah.
2 of them went to jail
In a
because
sting operation, though,
during
right? Like in a sting operation, which
no,
is pretty normal.
uh, they put the plan together, dude.
I
They
don't believe that.
planted the entire thing. The federal, it's in the court documents.
Then show
You
it to
can
me.
look that.
Show it to me. I don't believe that. I believe that there were federal informants who were in there working with them, and they might have had an undercover agent doing this shit, but I don't think it's illegal or wrong in any way. That's part of normal police procedure, especially if they're in a group that's been recognized as a hate group, one of these groups that are in this indictment, right? You would want to be like, hey, if you guys were going to do something, we're going to catch you, right? You'd want to do things like that.
Whitner kidnapping case involves significant FBI infiltration, with defense teams arguing that the federal agents and informants played a central role in shaping and advancing the plot. Multiple sources indicate the FBI used at least 12 confidential informants and undercover agents who were deeply embedded in the militia group, the Wolverine Watchmen.
Yeah.
All right, let's
What's
continue
wrong with that?
here.
What's wrong with informants and undercover agents? That's part of being a cop. Those are resources you use to catch criminals because they're not going to just come tell you that they're criminals. You have to do investigations. You have to find this information out. This is how they do it. Please, let's not do the AI thing. Let's just get like the actual paperwork. Is that
Okay. I'd have to
Or
go
at least-
searching
at least
for
a
all that
report.
shit back in the day, but yes, that is widely reported. As a matter of fact, let's go back to it then. We'll take AI out of the picture.
So what I'm looking at right now, dated September 15th, 2023, says that 9 out of 14 were acquitted, or 9 were convicted, and 5 have been cleared out of 14 men. I can send you that link right now from PBS.
Oh, I mean, you can bring it up on your screen. You want to share it?
Not particularly. I'll just send it in the chat.
I'd have to go through the documents and everything, yeah, but the 2 men who actually had a mistrial because the government was involved heavily in the plot came back in court, and the judge told them, you cannot bring up the fact that there are government officials involved in this case. Yes,
Okay.
that actually happened.
Why did the judge say that?
Because it was a slam dunk for the whole damn thing that the feds put it up there, and they were just sitting around just listening to the whole damn thing. They didn't go along with anything. They were just there in the group.
Weren't they found with the stuff to like kidnap someone? Like they had the chainsaw and like rope
The
and
two
shit like
had
that.
the mistrial? No, they did not.
Okay, but the ones who didn't have the mistrial.
There were probably some others that were involved. I'm talking about those two that didn't have the mistrial. Probably some are. I'm talking about those.
Clearly, I'm talking about the guys who were
them.
convicted.
4 of them. 4 of the 9 had nothing to do with a plot. They were just there, and they still went to jail for it.
But 2 of them did go to jail.
Yes, right? 2 of them did go to jail because the judge said you can't bring up the fact that there are government officials involved in this, or government agents involved in this. Okay. Yes, that happened. I can give you all that information later. I'll email it to you.
I'm gonna be honest. That sounds like some pretty common pretrial stuff when the judge decides what evidence can and cannot be used in front of a jury. Like
that there were federal agents that were involved in the plotting, and you were just there listening.
I don't know the statute, but I believe the judge, because they still got the other 2 convicted, right?
So you cannot prove in the court of law that somebody else set up the plan and you just overheard it but said nothing. If anything at all, you could have actually said, I was just an accomplice. I was not involved.
Did they say that?
No, they went after him. They went after them for the plot itself.
Okay, listen, the 2 that were acquitted, awesome for them. The 2 that were convicted, though, and that are in jail right now are the ones that I'm more concerned about. Those were caught because of informants from the SPLC. You can't tell them
that there were government officials involved in this case.
Well, there were informants from the SPLC that were involved in this case. Are you going to be upset about that?
Absolutely. If you're actually going through and saying what's actually going on in this, if you are paying these people, then you are funding the very same thing you were supposedly fighting. You were making up this racial shit in our country just so you can justify your existence? Yes, I find a big problem with that.
So I'm curious, if someone calls a drug dealer and says, I want to meet here and buy drugs from you at this price, and the drug dealer goes, yeah, sure. And then they get there and they're like, it's a sting, I'm a cop, you're under arrest. That's not legal. That's not doable. It's not allowed.
If you're law enforcement, yes.
That's totally
SPLC allowed. Law enforcement, no.
It's allowed by kind of anyone. I don't think the SPLC was actually doing that, to be honest. I didn't say they were doing that. I said they're paying informants.
I'm saying the cops are because you're selling drugs. I cannot take you to jail because you were selling drugs. The only thing I can do is no, the fuck I cannot.
I can do a citizen's drugs.
I can do a citizen's arrest. No, a cop. I must call the cops to bring you in. I cannot bring you in myself. That is not a thing.
A cop can. A citizen can't. You're conflating 2 things. We're talking about the FBI sting. You're saying that they were acquitted because they can't mention the
SPLC
FBI.
Is not law enforcement, though, so they cannot arrest people. They can only give information to.
I'm saying for this case that we're talking about, the kidnapping case, okay, there were informants that were SPLC informants in the group. There were also informants for the FBI. There were also undercover agents for the FBI, because when you have informants, you're doing an operation like this, you generally send in undercover agents to carry out the operation, right? So that's not illegal if you know they're up to some shit.
When you go in there and you do group as far as federal agents who are actually actively involved in creating the plot.
Well, yeah, but you're conflating federal agents and informants as the same group. Obviously, there's going to be more of them, especially if you have a solid case and they start flipping.
No, there is not, dude.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Dude, no.
Listen, if you have a group of 14 and 3 people flip, right, and 4 people are federal agents, you have that's 7. That's half the group is federal agents, according to you. Because 3 people flipped and 4 were undercover.
Yes. They planned it. They took out all the actions. They're the
guys who went to jail.
The whole damn thing.
The guys who went to jail were the ones who got the materials, who made reasonable steps.
Yeah, they were active participants in it. And I'm not talking about that because I'm only talking about them.
I don't give a fuck about the people who were acquitted, to be honest with you. They're acquitted, great for them. That's our justice system at work. The ones who were convicted, though, that's a problem, no? That they were trying to kidnap the governor?
So if I make a plan and bring you in on a plan to kidnap the governor, I plan everything out. I make all the actions. All you do is just get the materials. Somehow you go to prison for what I was planning. I'm
If
law
you,
enforcement, bitch.
if
I'm
I
sorry, I
go,
didn't mean to use that
you're
word,
fine.
but
I don't give a shit, honestly. If you make the plan, but that's all you do is you're like, man, I have this great fucking idea. We're gonna kidnap the governor. We're gonna kill her. And then I show up the next day in a truck with like cyanide and shit, and I'm like, let's go, bro. We were drinking last night. You said we're gonna do this, and you're like, man, I don't know about that. That's different. Those are two different situations. The
okay,
guy who showed up with the cyanide is the dude who's going to jail. Those are the people who went to jail in this situation.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's all I'm
But
saying.
for the federal government to set it up and to set everything up and give you your contacts and you get
Yeah,
this, you get that, you get this, you do this by doing this, that is actually entrapment.
it's called a sting operation.
No, that
It's
is
how it works.
entrapment by law.
If it's a
There
group
are
that you know has
several
been doing these
cases
things,
that have actually brought that up in the same damn way. FBI tried to do stings on major drug cartels using the same thing, and they were thrown out of court for that reason.
hold up. But if they are going in there and getting you to do these things, there must be something there that they're able to pick a group so accurately and convince them to do these terrorist acts. There must be something wrong going on there, no?
Well, if you are mentally unstable enough to actually think this is a good idea, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
say that
So
as
they should be
somebody
doing these
who
things to
is,
catch these people, right? Like to get the mentally unstable off the street.
I say that as somebody who I would say I do struggle with anger issues.
Yeah, and
So I
if
am
you
a little bit mentally unstable, but for that, there is no justification for that.
hold
The
up,
ones who
it,
actually participated, you're right. But the ones who were just sitting by, how the hell are you going to go to jail for what the feds made up?
yeah, but then they got acquitted, right? You said it yourself; they were acquitted.
Two of them. The other two that went to prison were told by the judge they can't bring up the fact that federal agents made up the plan.
Yeah, because they still went through with it. You agreed with me before, right up, and then we bring up this case and you switch. Like
No,
if the
no, I did
government comes
not.
in and says
The
do
ones
this,
that
and then you
actually
start doing it, and they
participated,
don't
yes.
participate, yeah, the ones who are participating are in jail. No,
Yes, I was arguing the two that got thrown in jail for not participating
well,
because
they
the
must have done
judge
something.
said, fuck you.
There must have been something else, because otherwise, how did the other guys get out and those two didn't? The judge just didn't like their face, or what?
Because the judge told him you can't tell anybody in this case that government was involved. You can't say the motherfuckers that actually made up the plot that we are accusing you of were actually feds and you just sat there and listened. We're
Okay,
accusing you of making the plot now. You must
that
prove that you didn't make the plot without saying the government made the plot. How the fuck do you do that?
sounds like the legal system we got. If they want to appeal it, they can appeal it. Did they win their appeal?
That's still going through the court system right now. They're still in prison.
Then talk to me when that ends. I guess I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
But the ones
So
who
is
did
it
go
right
through with it,
though? Is it right?
that's the justice system we got. If you want to create a better version of it, by all means, I'm all ears. Right now, we have a
So
system.
you're okay with people going to prison for something they didn't do? I'm
No,
I'm sorry. We're just
it seems
covering
like
that
it seems like they participated in it at some way, right?
by
There's no
knowing and
shot.
listening to what was going on. They participated somehow.
I don't believe that they just listened. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I don't believe that they were in the
I
vehicle with all that shit,
I'm
but I
just
think they
saying.
materially contributed in some way.
I'm just saying.
Otherwise, how'd the jury find them guilty?
Look into that
What
case
did
a
what
lot
evidence?
more.
Hold on. What evidence would they have brought in outside of the FBI being there, not being there? Right? Because if you say you can't mention that the FBI were there, but they were just sitting there doing nothing,
But
even
then it'd
then
be easy
they're
to
still
pin you
innocent.
down as the one who actually made the plot because you can't say no. It was actually this person and 11 other motherfuckers that were working for the government.
Well, no, but
It'd
they had
be
all
easy
they
as
had all
hell
the
for
group
me to
chats,
pin that
right?
down on you, and I'm not a lawyer, brother.
They had all the chats though, right? They could prove anything. I don't know.
But you
We're
couldn't
like
prove they were federal agents.
yeah, I don't. I
You
honestly,
couldn't say
it
it in
sounds like a
court.
sting. If they find that it was an improper sting, then by all means, then throw out their cases and let them back out. But right now,
That's
it
the
seems like it
argument.
was a proper sting.
No, that was not. Not
Well,
when you are most of the group.
if the judge
No.
did say that and it was legal, I'm not. I didn't research that before today, but if the judge did, then it's reasonable to assume that they'd win their appeal, and that's just the legal system we got.
It's wrong for that to actually happen in the first place, just to pin something on somebody for a politically motivated win.
Well, how fortunate that Republicans have all three branches of government. They can change it, right?
Will they? Fuck no.
Exactly. Yeah, because Trump isn't doing anything about that. None of
Yeah,
the DOJ
I
is doing
got
anything
bigger
about that.
problems to worry about than actual of that right now, but it is a huge concern that motherfuckers can go to prison for something that they didn't really do.
Okay, but the ones who did go to prison for something they did do, it was because of informants, like the ones from the SPLC. Do we agree with that?
Where is why is that? Oh, it popped up on this screen. Okay. I'm sorry, say that again. I was looking for this.
So I was going to say the two who did go to jail because of informants from the SPLC, who did actually do things to try to commit a kidnapping. We agree that that was proper, correct?
Who did agree to it? Who actually went along with it as far as getting
Materials and
material
gathering
for it?
up and making actions
Yes.
to do it. Okay, awesome.
100%.
We're in agreement on that then, and that's
And
that's
if
an
I did
example.
that, I'd go to jail myself.
Yeah,
I'd be
and
like, fuck it.
yeah, that's an example of the SPLC informants doing good things, and they're actively fighting the people that they say they're going to fight. This whole case rests on the SPLC's money going to informants that is somehow helping the organizations that the informants are informing on, which makes no sense to me either because it's
By
dumb.
doing a sting operation by bringing would be, which is probably wouldn't be if they didn't have access to everything.
The FBI took that information from the SPLC and they did their own sting operation.
Yes.
But
And
that was made possible.
Made
because
possible
of the SPLC.
by bringing in these motherfuckers who had really nothing to do, just express discontent. And yes, like I said,
An attempt to
those who
kidnap the
actually
governor.
did something, I fucking 100% agree.
Yeah, those
Just
are the
send
people
them
I'm
to jail.
fired up about. Yeah, that's bad. Right?
You're right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. If you participated, you need to go up the river too.
Yeah.
But to sit there and pin people down, and that's what pisses me off, and that's what most people, especially on the left, that don't get. To pin people down and say that you cannot tell a jury of your peers that the federal government set up everything, gave you access, gave you money, they planned the whole damn thing, and brought you in on it just because you were a would-be target for them. No, I would not allow that in our court system at all by any judge, and that judge should be removed from the bench altogether.
What are these? If they're doing this operation, not just doing it willy-nilly to random citizens on the street, they're doing it to people who are likely to commit terrorist acts, hate groups like Unite the Right, the KKK, stuff like that. Hate groups.
Okay, you're funding and actually pushing and propagandizing people to fund these hate groups, or to join these hate groups with your funding, because they wouldn't exist without your funding. You
I don't
understand the problem with this?
It doesn't say anywhere in the indictment it exists
if they weren't creating these issues.
Even the federal government doesn't allege that they were creating these hate groups in the indictment.
I didn't say they were creating. I said they wouldn't be in existence if they weren't funded.
Yeah, they would. They would definitely be in existence. You think the KKK didn't exist before funding in the 1860s?
Dude,
they just popped up. Do you think Antifa exists and gets funding?
The KKK started in Pulaski, Tennessee. I live, 30 minutes south of that? If they don't march there now, they're not around. The only place I have ever seen KKK is in Democrat states. And I mean that. 100% mean that shit.
I mean, I live in the biggest Democrat state in the nation, and I've never seen the KKK. So I don't know. Oh, okay.
And they're only in Democrat states. But
okay. I've never seen them.
If you are funding them, then they grow more because of what you are funding. You can't sit there and tell me if I didn't give you money, you wouldn't be able to do more.
Who's funding them?
SPLC has been giving them money, apparently.
The SPLC
this is what we are arguing.
Specific informants. It's not funding the entire operation. It's got like the wife of the KKK leader or some shit taking money on the side to pass them info.
You think I'm saying funding the entire damn thing? No.
It sounds like it.
No, that is you conflating my words.
Okay, well,
you wouldn't exist as big as you are without that funding.
Who's you in this? The KKK or who?
the KKK, the Unite the Right, the ones in this, you wouldn't be in existence if you didn't have money that was given to you to promote these things, to do these things. And you say they're paying informants. Well, tell me how their leadership wound up with these gift cards.
Because
their
the leaders are probably the ones informing.
If their leaderships are the ones that are informing, couldn't if your leadership was there, couldn't the leadership disband? So if they control it, they are actually pushing this. They are making this whole damn thing, and they are creating these issues.
Do you think all these organizations,
leadership that is actually funded, and they're the informants, and they're pushing all of this shit down to the lowers? That's how leadership works. Then is it not the SPLC who is creating the bullshit that they say they're fighting?
Do you think all these organizations answer to one individual? Each one just has its own cult leader that runs it, and they're the ones getting the money, or? Because they all have like organizations. These are organized groups, right?
Yes.
That's why they're
broken down into structure. I get it.
You might get the leadership of one.
Dude, I'm not saying they're paying the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Holy shit!
Well, it sounds like you are.
No, that is your brain saying if the local chapter of a KKK near me, if it got shut the fuck down because it was an informant getting paid, or that motherfucker was using his money to actually continue to march to make shit fucking profitable for the SPLC, yeah, I got a fucking problem with that, dude. I really do. I have a huge problem with the fact that the SPLC would be funding a KKK group right next to my fucking doorstep just so they can make funding off creating hate groups in my area. Yes,
but that
I have a problem with that.
Well, that only works if you think that they're funding them and they're paying informants.
And
that's where all the other
how did their leadership get the money? Well, their leadership is informants. Well, if the informants were the leadership, the informants would be able to shut down that chapter, and they'd actually be functional, would they not? Instead of using the money to continue to keep creating these events that they can fund off.
No. How many leaders do they have?
I don't fucking know. I don't know how many chapters anybody has in what. I don't know how many hoodwear motherfuckers there are.
I bet you all the money I have in my life that it is more leaders than the 6 that they are citing in this indictment. So if one person in a leadership position, not the head dude, but in one of the lower but still kind of high up their positions is getting funding to be an informant, what do you think is more effective for him to do if he has a change of heart? Do you think it's more effective for him to leave and be replaced immediately and nothing really happens, or for him to start taking money on the side and informing on this group? And the money's there because it's so fucking dangerous to inform on these people.
Money on the side and informing on this group, and then they're taking the money and giving it to their leadership.
They haven't even alleged that. Though even if they do, hold on, even if they do, you don't think that that's not like a pretty fucking 4 IQ idea? To be like, these people want me to inform, I'll just take their money and fucking give them bullshit information. Like, these things happen when you're doing sting operations like this, when you're looking for informants. Things go sideways sometimes. Things don't always work out. But in the end of the day, the goal is to get informants to give you actionable information so that you can pass it on to law enforcement and get positive change.
Yeah, and then you pay them, and that person gives money to their leadership to fund the same damn shit that they're saying they're fighting.
Well, yeah, would you risk your family's life for free? I wouldn't. You got to incentivize the fuck out of me to put my family in danger.
Would they be in danger if you were actually not funding them?
Would they be in danger if they weren't informing? No, but they also wouldn't be making a difference. There's things you got to wait. People are different.
How many motherfuckers are... Okay, you say... Okay, how many motherfuckers are there? Do you know?
I have no idea, but I bet you it's more than 6. And that's how many wire transfers are in question here. For 6 individuals.
And that's the only ones that they've caught so far from the SPLC that is happening. This is 6 people? That's still a lot of motherfuckers that are actually in there giving money to fund racist organizations to go out and march and do shit.
Where do you think they're alleging that? Because nowhere in the indictment do they make any allegations beyond these 6 wire transfers. That's the allegations that they're using to indict them. They even say who they are.
Wait a minute, where was it? Wasn't it in here where he said this leadership, where they were funding with the gift cards, were given to leadership? They were found in the hands of leadership. Yes, he did.
I don't believe anything Cash
Yes.
say. I need to see it written down, put in front of a judge before I believe it. I swear. I'm sorry.
That's probably okay.
But we're still waiting on wave 2 of the Epstein
An indictment is the argument, right? You're not
Yeah, the
going to have
indictment
all the
is what they-
evidence in progress as far as an indictment goes, because this is just saying a grand jury says there is 51%
Yeah,
maybe
but just
probable
looking at what
cause
they
here
put on
that
paper,
something happened.
it's on its face. It's bullshit. They're paying informants, and the FBI is trying to say, "Oh, they're funding them." No, they're paying informants. They're paying people to fucking
Okay.
talk to them on their behalf, so they can do actionable things like carry
And
out
if there
lawsuits.
is
sting
evidence as to what
operations.
Cash Patel is saying is that they were getting reloadable gift cards, would you eat your words?
No, they were getting
the
reloadable
case.
gift cards because when you scroll down, you see they went through the wire
That is handed to
transfers.
their leadership? Come on.
No, they went through the wire transfers, and when the bank said, "Hey, we know you guys are using a fake name," which they were probably doing to protect their informants' lives, when they found out they were doing that, they said, "Okay, we're not going to do that anymore," and they switched to the card transfer system. That's the later indictments in the on the paper, like when you scroll all the way down.
And then those cards were being handed up to the leadership in there to keep funding. That's how they were able to track that. That's probably what got them fucking caught.
Yeah, probably someone was like, "Yeah, I was informing. They gave me money. Here you go." But like that doesn't indict the entire SPLC. That's one informant system that went bad, or one informant situation that went bad.
That remained in there?
That what?
That remained in there? They remained in there even after, hey, look, I'm informing. The government gave me money to inform. Here's the money for it. I'm just going to stay in my position. I'm still going to work with you guys.
Well, yeah, imagine if you say, "Hey, the government gave me this money to inform on you. I'm gonna feed them bullshit. Here's the money that they gave me to use for the organization." The organization would be like, "Hell yeah, keep going. That sounds fucking awesome."
But did it happen?
I don't know. We can't trust anything the fucking FBI says these days, right? Remember, they're like, you can indict a ham sandwich, and we literally have someone on video hitting a cop with a ham sandwich. They can't do anything right. These guys suck. You can't trust anything they say.
I agree with you there. As far as FBI goes, they have been very, very fucked up to the people, both left and right, every administration.
No, they're not just fucked up. These guys, this dude on screen right now in particular, are just incompetent, right? This guy isn't even sure if he got the right Charlie Kirk shooter. Like, he isn't even confident about that because the fucking ballistics came back and there was some question.
Nobody's confident about that because I swear.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice to be confident about it though? Wouldn't it be so nice to be like, yeah, we got the shooter. He's in jail. We got him for sure. No one has to worry about it. That would be great.
I agree.
Yeah, that's why I'm voting Democrat, because these guys can't do that. They can't give me that assurance.
Democrats don't do that either.
I'm sorry. I felt a lot better at night with freaking Mueller and Biden up there than I do with this dipshit. I'm gonna be honest with you. At least Mueller could fucking read. I don't know if Cash Patel can. He's got that one eye fucking going off like that the whole time. He's got some difficulties.
I've ragged on him for it, yes.
Oh.
But I didn't feel safe because, all right, you remember the quadruple S on tickets? On plane tickets? You remember that story? How they were tracking people and saying, hey, you need to keep a watch on these people because there was a quadruple S on the ticket that stood for something within. All right.
I'm not sure about the triple S, but I do know they track people. Like, there's no fly lists and shit like that. That wouldn't surprise me.
On plane ticket. This right here. Quadruple S on a boarding pass stands for secondary security screening selection, indicating that the passenger has been flagged for additional more thorough security checks by Transportation Security Administration. I had that on my ticket. The only thing that I have ever had that would ever flag me as being a problem, mind you, I have been on planes not most of my life, but a damn good portion of it, and it wasn't until the Biden administration this happened. The only thing that could have ever flagged me for that was a domestic violence charge that I had because I caught my sister fucking cooking meth and she attacked me, which was then dropped later on. That's the only thing, and it shouldn't have been on my record. Tell me why the fuck I was scanned for extra screening. That took over an hour to get my ticket every time I went to the airport, only under the Biden administration, until this story came out and people started noticing.
I mean, man, I feel for you because this is going to sound wild. I'm actually banned from Canada for telling a dude I was going to kick the shit out of him over an online disagreement. But that makes
Thank you.
sense. That makes sense though, right? Because there's some, like, we are in a very heightened state of fear, really, over shit. Like, it started with 9/11, and we've just been fear mongered and fear mongered and fear mongered since.
Yes.
Like, doesn't it make sense that this is what they're doing? It's not like they stop you from getting on the plane. I admit it's a little inconvenient. I imagine it's less inconvenient for you than being banned from all of Canada. But
I
it's
can't
what it
have
is.
social media because I can't keep my mouth shut.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes we talk shit, and there's consequences. Like, it's not illegal, but hey,
I don't care.
when you
Keep
talk
me
a lot
on.
of shit, it happens.
I don't
It's the
have to put up
consequence
with
of
the
being us.
stupidity. Yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
But as far as that goes, with this whole thing here, okay, if they are paying the informants and the informants are the higher ups, I'm still pissed the fuck off that you're keeping it running. You can shut your damn chapter down.
Okay. Well, I think you can, but I think that's a personal decision. Everyone's got to make their own choice there. The ones who stay, I can understand the logic that this is going to do more good than just leaving. Some people feel like they have to right the wrongs that they did when they leave these communities, and I applaud that. Either way, but it does sound like there was one or two informants that were doing what you said. They took the money and they're like, ha ha ha, these fucking idiots paid me. Here's the money, boss. I'm going to feed them bullshit. And that sucks. I don't know how you legislate around that to make that stop entirely. It sounds pretty hard to do. But I don't think you do an indictment against someone and call it fraud. Like, it was a mistake.
That is.
Mistakes are not.
It's a deceitful practice to sit here and say, "Hey, give me money so we can fund hate groups," and you them money, and then they give money to those hate groups.
You keep using the word fund hate groups, and I see it as pay.
I said funding, which is money.
Yes, but you are paying informants. There's a difference between the individual and the group. If you pay an individual and that money just goes into the individual's bank account instead of going into the group's bank account, it is different. That's an example of it being different.
Okay, right? So can we agree that there's probably more informants involved in these groups from the SPLC that would be involved in something like this? So why only the 6?
Possibly. I have no idea. Maybe there is just 6. I don't know.
Okay, so possible. If there is just 6, it's these 6 people that are doing these things that are actually illegal that you are defending because they're paying informants?
I mean, if the beginning counts are saying that the SPLC is defrauding its donors by funding hate groups, these counts that we're looking at here are wire fraud counts, for which the law that they're relying on requires that the defrauding the donors be the superseding crime. So if they're not defrauding donors, this here is not a crime. So this whole thing relies on them proving that they are defrauding their donors by funding hate groups, which is why I think you keep saying it so much. What's really going on is they're paying informants. So if they can prove that they're paying informants, which should be pretty freaking easy to prove, especially considering the FBI cites them as informants in its opening page, and they're referred to as field sources throughout all the other documents that the FBI seems to have, that you don't really have a case. Everything requires that you prove that they're defrauding your donors, and you're not. Or it seems like they're not. It's reasonable to assume that they're not.
An act, expression, omission, or concealment calculated to induce another to part with something of value or surrender a legal right. So I tell you, I'm fighting hate groups. Okay? I'm out there to dismantle them. Give me money. I give you money. You then go and fund the same hate group that's right in my backyard for me to continue to give you money. Do you see a problem with that?
I don't see them funding hate groups, though. I just don't see it. I see them paying informants. That's what they claim. That I know the government says that they're paying them, but the people they're paying are people they cite as field sources who are informants.
Who you said have been pointed out and are still there. Okay, so if you're still giving money to these people who are still there, because, like you said, hey, these stupid assholes are paying me money, I'm going to continue to keep taking it, hand it off. Why are you still paying?
Well, I'm saying that one or two of those people probably were, and I imagine the ones with there's one dude in there who got a few $1 million. I imagine he didn't hand it off. I imagine he was the guy who gave them actionable intelligence, and they went, "Oh, hey, this guy probably keep paying him," and that's why he was able to rack up so much over time, because he was a reliable source. There's people in there that I imagine had less money, and they probably weren't so reliable. And so I don't think that they were just paying them. I think they were paying the reliable ones, and the ones they didn't get a return on investment for, they probably stopped paying because capitalism. That's how capitalism works. If
Who
you
were
don't get,
still participating in and planning racial events.
yeah,
Now,
well,
if you were
do you know what being an
informant,
informant is, right?
yes,
Yeah,
I do know what that is.
it's like being undercover.
Yes,
So if you were
yes.
doing these things before, you would continue to do them after, so you don't blow your cover, right?
So you as a civilian can break federal law just to prove a crime?
Did they break federal law? Is that what they're
I mean,
alleging?
if you are actually organizing, and I'm not
Yeah, I
even going
mean,
to say funding, if you are organizing racial incidences, then yes, it is
I mean,
illegal.
I would even say if like the let's go back to the Unite the Right rally. That was completely legal. I found it kind of reprehensible, but it was legal up
You're
until that
right,
guy
it
started
was.
running a girl over.
It was up until that point,
So
yes.
so if the SPLC is funding that, they're not breaking any laws technically. They're just getting information for it on the side, which is in keeping with what they're
But
doing. But I think that they were paying individuals. But if that's what you're saying that they were funding, there's nothing illegal about that.
y- y- uh,
If you're saying they're
funding the
funding,
racial groups that would probably not have as much prominence without the money.
yeah, there is nothing illegal. If I right now gave $20 to the KKK, that's not illegal. It's fucked up, but it's not illegal.
You're right.
Yeah.
But if you were saying that you were fighting the KKK and you donated to the KKK, you would be defrauding the people who gave you money to fight the KKK.
Yes, if you weren't paying informants. We're kind of circling this informant thing. Like you say that they're not giving the money to the
There's
to
more
the group.
informants in here, so they targeted 6 specifically because they did something fucked up and illegal.
They targeted 6 specific ACH wire transfers because those cross state lines. I think that's probably why those 6 are in there. That makes it a federal jurisdiction.
Fair enough, but why are you creating the shell corporations and everything behind that? You trying to say that's hiding the wire transfer itself?
But I think the issue was that they didn't create a shell corporation, and that's what made it questionable. But in order for that to be illegal, it needs to be in furtherance of a crime.
Let's see.
So you really you still have to prove that they're paying these groups and not
Yes, as described in paragraphs 14 and 15, individuals at SPLC opened bank accounts for Center Investigative Agency, the CIA.
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
if you hold on, if you keep reading though, it's going to say that they weren't incorporated legally. They had no employees. They had no records. They were
right.
They didn't
So
exist.
they were shell companies.
No, they were just fake names. That's literally all it was. They just used a fake name.
They were
A shell company has paperwork and it pays taxes and shit wherever it's set up. Like this is just they put a fake name on it, which makes sense.
You would still have to do that for a bank too to prove that you are a valid actual company.
Generally, yeah, but if you look at the indictment that they cite, they say that that rule that they cite says you have to prove intent. Like it has to be in furtherance of a crime, and I don't think they're. That's why I'm saying it's so important
To
that
hide the money,
donation, that the
and pass
fraud
it
that they're in.
between everybody, and then it be delivered out. That was the same thing with the Burisma scandal.
Well, they're not bouncing it around, but like let me see 1, 2. It looks like there's 4 different names that they're using on there, and there's 6 transactions. Like one of those names was used for 2 people, maybe.
Right.
Seems like they had a different one for each source. And they're just using a different name for each person that they paid.
Wait. All right. So there's 4. Okay, so you're saying there's 4 people, 6 names. They probably used 2 of these.
Yeah, they
probably covered some others.
Yeah, they just came up with a name for each transaction. They're like, oh, Billy Bob down in fucking Alabama, we're gonna pay him and his wife. Call it Fox Photography and send them that money, because you don't want your name, the SPLC's name, to show up on a bank statement. Because once again,
And where did they get this money?
In danger. They
Where
got
did
that
these
money.
companies get this money?
Those aren't real companies. That's the SPLC under a pseudonym.
I understand that.
No.
But
That's the SPLC. That's what I'm saying.
Actually set up with bank accounts. However that happened, when they didn't really exist.
A bank account was set up under those
money?
names, yes. But it was paid. If you read it, it was paid by literally the person from the SPLC. I forget what they called her, like their accountant or something. Let me see if I can find it.
Bank accounts fictitious. It would be to conduct financial transactions that made it appear as the S were receiving money from the fictitious entities rather than receiving donated funds from the SPLC.
Yeah, that's reasonable, right? Because you wouldn't want them to be in danger with SPLC's name on their bank statements if that ever got out. You used to do something like Fox Photography, an organization, Fox. The white hate groups don't really have any issue with Fox, do they? So,
which is used in other ways, which is how they do have informants that are still above board on law. If you're creating fictitious things that have no record of existing, it looks like fraud. What normally happens in cases like this is they set something up to route it through and actually make it look like it is an actual business to cover that up, or they will use some business that's willing to actually go along with a case like that. If you cannot prove that this company is paying you and in existence, that's a big thing for fraud.
Yeah, look at the code that they're citing, though. I'll send you the link. The same one where I did the PBS link. It's title 18 something.
PBS. All right.
This is from Cornell Law School. Code 18, U.S. Code 1343, fraud by wire, radio, or television. That's the code they're citing for these 6 transactions.
Whoever having devised or intended to devise any scheme or artifice to defraud or for obtaining money or property by means of false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, or promises transmits or causes to be transmitted by means of wire, radio, or television communication in the interstate of foreign commerce any writings, signs, signals, pictures, or sounds for the purpose of executing such scheme or artifice, there we go, word, shall be fined under this title or in prison for no more than 20 years or both. Okay?
Yeah, so if you read that opening, it says it needs to be intending to devise any scheme or artifice to defraud. And the fraud that they're citing in the indictment, if you read all the way at the top, is that they're defrauding their donors. But that implies that the donors aren't smart enough to put it together in their head, oh, all these news stories of the SPLC having informants that help the FBI, that might be getting funded by what I'm donating. Like, that's the disconnect. That's why it's so important to the Trump administration that they say, oh, they're funding the KKK, not paying informants, even though they call them informants in their own indictment.
But when you do it without a trackable way,
it looks like they tracked it. It's right on your screen right there.
They tracked it to bank accounts that don't exist.
That
bank accounts from companies that don't exist.
But those
that they have no record of, they can't prove it actually exists. So the money does go dark. You have actually created a black spot.
It goes directly from the SPLC to these companies, really to the bank account, and then from the bank account to the people. And when the bank said, hey, stop doing that, we don't like that, they said, oh, okay, we'll just pay them with these prepaid cards.
So I'm supposed to take you at your word for that?
No, we're supposed to look at the indictment.
No, I'm supposed to take you at your word that these companies are what you're actually paying for what you're saying you are. When
I got that information directly from the indictment.
When there is no trail whatsoever of what is going on.
If there's no trail, then how did they end up in this indictment?
Because that's where the money went to. And then they couldn't
find
find out.
It's called a trail.
Yes, and then they couldn't find out what happened after that because that company didn't exist. It wasn't written down anywhere. There's no trail of.
They tracked it directly from those companies to the informants that they cite in their own indictment.
Dude, do you understand how banking works?
Yeah, there's a money trail that they follow.
You have to track every damn bit of this. So when it comes down to a place in a bank account with somebody you can't actually prove owns that account and they're accessing it and using it, yes, that would be considered fraudulent. That is law, dude. And if you were doing that, if you cannot prove that somebody actually owns that account and you are still using it, that could also be considered theft. So when you are taking my money and giving it to some random motherfucker and there is no trace of you doing it to actually say you are actually doing what you are doing, yes, it is fraudulent.
No.
Yes.
Because you have to have intent to defraud someone.
That would be
Where are they taking the money from? I'm curious. Wait,
hold on. You're taking the money from the donors and you're making it disappear.
Hold on. I'm curious.
What are you talking about?
Wait, hold on. Did you think that Trump was innocent in New York?
In New York, which one?
when he got those 34.
Oh, dude,
counts.
this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Let's go. Which one are we talking about here? Because, yeah,
Just out of curiosity.
we covered this a lot. Let's go.
That's
Which
fine.
one?
Any of them? Did you think
Any
that
of 'em?
any of those indictments were?
Well, you want to talk about E. Jean Carroll, who was supposedly wearing a dress that did not exist
No, no.
for fucking years
The
before?
34
Hold on,
felony
hold on,
counts.
hold on.
The 34
wanna
felony
ta-
counts.
Oh, the 34 felony counts. You want to talk about him going to the bank and having their accountants write up this thing that said he had 30,000 square foot, and in the contract said this information may or may not be correct. Went to the bank did their due diligence, said no, it's not actually correct, lowered the amount of the loan, they approved of it, he actually paid the loan back, but somehow it's fraudulent because his accountants wrote something wrong. It's his fault that his accountants wrote something fucking wrong, and he must go to jail for something that somebody else did in a big, huge fucking business of thousands of people.
Well, how
No.
do you know that this wasn't just some random accountant who did something wrong? They said pay these motherfuckers, and she did it like this. How do you know
Because
that?
the bank, under oath, Deutsche Bank went in there and said we were not harmed in any way. We went in there, we did our due diligence. We actually lowered the value of everything.
Wait,
And
did
he
this bank
still
say it was
agreed,
harmed?
we have no problem. And they said, fuck you anyway, he's guilty.
Does Bank One allege that it was harmed?
No, the bank said there was no way in hell I'm harmed.
No,
we
no, no.
agreed to it. I
Bank
made
One
out
in
like a
this
crook.
indictment. No, no, no. I'm coming back to the Southern Poverty Southern Poverty Law Center indictment. Did that
How
bank
are we
in
going to
those?
jump back to that then?
Because you said that that bank said it wasn't harmed. Is this bank claiming that it was harmed? Did they steal money from this bank in some way? How did they wrong this bank? I believe they paid.
The
everything
bank
they're
has
supposed to.
nothing to do with this. It was just transferring to
Well, you
the
said
bank.
they're committing
They were
fraud.
using a bank to cover up money.
You can cover up money. That's allowed.
No.
Yes, if I give my sister 20
Holy
bucks and I
shit.
don't tell the government about it, that's totally allowed.
There
The fraud is if
is a
we read
difference
it in the
between 20
indictment.
bucks to your
Hold
sister
up.
than there are millions of
read it.
dollars going out the door, dude.
We read it. Yeah, size. We read it in the 18
The
U.S. code.
size.
Yeah, we
Six
hold up.
motherfuckers make $3 million, and that's somehow size compared to your 20 bucks you give to your sister. That's the argument?
In the eyes of the law, pretty much, except
No.
for taxes.
Absolutely fucking not.
But if you look at this fucking indictment, they're not saying. Or I'm sorry, you got me all fucked up. The 18 U.S. Code 1343. You have to prove intent to defraud someone. Someone has to be the victim.
Dude,
Who is the victim?
I'm the victim. If I'm giving you money and you are actually giving money to these hate groups to continue to do what you're trying to say you
We're
are
back
fighting,
to the hate groups thing. They're paying informants. That's why you keep coming back to this. 'cause
holy
you can't
shit, you
admit
just
it.
said, yeah, they could have some leadership here, and if the leadership is actually doing this, some of these people are giving money to their leadership because, yeah, my money was defrauded while you were doing this shit.
That's possible. That's a risk you take when you look for informants. And I think every donor there probably would have been like,
Look for
yeah, it
informants.
happens."
You should have already fucking had them before you had the
The
plan
ol-
going.
The only way that that's fraud is if they kept doing it knowing that that was going to happen. And I highly
Do
fucking
you
doubt you're gonna be able
understand
to
how
prove
law
that.
enforcement actually gets informants? It's
Why don't
usually
you tell
because
me?
of a record or something like that. So if you're SPLC trying to do something like that, would you or would you not manipulate the people in the same way?
I don't know how you'd manipulate them, to be honest with you. I have no idea.
So you don't
Maybe
know how
you
to
look for someone
manipulate
who
people.
grew
You
up-
don't know how to look for a weakness within somebody and then exploit it to your benefit.
No, that's not one of my many skills in life. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. I'm a normal dude. I don't really do that.
Everybody can be manipulative.
Okay, well, that's
All
awesome.
when you
That
spin
sucks.
information, when you're sitting here trying to say, yeah, this is.
I mean, life's going to be a real scary place if you believe that, you
The
know?
6 motherfucking people have been indicted into this, which means these are the only 6 that they are targeting because, like you said, it's interstate. At that point, it becomes federal. The
Yeah.
states can push more. There's probably a hell of a lot more if the states go looking. But because it
Go
crossed
looking.
international lines, this is now federal. The 6 of these motherfuckers. How many more are doing this? How many more
Wait.
are you? Are we
The-
getting to the
the
point
word-
now in the
hold on.
same damn thing with the Gretchen Whitmer thing, where these informants outweigh the actual hate motherfuckers in the group?
I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of people haven't changed their hearts recently. They saw Trump and went, being a white supremacist ain't that great. But look at the first word you have highlighted. This is the code that they're citing. You have to intend to defraud someone. Like, if they aren't intending to defraud someone, that's part of the law, dude.
If I intend to take your fucking money and plan a goddamn hate rally to raise fucking money off that hate rally, you are defrauding me because you are not fighting what you are saying you're fighting. You are creating what you say you are creating.
Does
Whether
it
it
say
be
in the-
$20
hold on.
given or
Hold on.
$3 million.
Show me in the indictment where it says that the SPLC was running a fucking hate rally. They were paying informants. It
Dude,
says it right there. They're called field sources. Field source 08, field source 39.
That were involved in the planning of these organizations, these rallies, these things that they were doing.
I don't know
Yes.
if you know this, but the guy who sets up the chairs at the fucking PTA meeting doesn't know what's going on all the time. You want the guy in charge if you're going to get bang for your buck.
You were just saying these people were in leadership, and now you're saying they're the janitors.
No, I'm
Where
saying
the fuck
you
are we
don't want
going with
those
this
guys.
conversation right
I'm
now?
saying you don't want the janitor.
Yeah, you
want the
fucking
leadership
do.
to be your informant.
Yeah, you actually fucking do want the janitor because the janitor's the most unsuspecting motherfucker and will overhear a lot more people. You want that person that's in the background that's not fucking noticeable. That
Maybe
will
in Batman the
overhear.
Animated Series, not in real
Oh,
life, dude.
Dude, yes.
The important people are the ones in the fucking locked office making the plans.
Yes. And
Those are
I'd
the ones who
still
know what's
have
going
somebody as a fucking janitor listening to the whispers of motherfuckers because they're going to be more informed as to what motherfuckers are actually saying than the leadership is.
That's retarded. They're not. They're cleaning fucking shitters, dude. You're really mad that they got the leadership instead of the janitors to be their informant? Is that where this argument is at?
How the hell are you going to twist around words to actually try to make that? No.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying, dude. The janitor is not the guy that you want. I don't care what Looney Tunes world you live in. They're not hearing all the plans. The guy who makes the plans, he's the one who knows the plans.
Yes.
That's
I
who you want to
agree.
flip.
And I also said the fucking janitor.
The guy
Stop
who-
trying to twist words and try to be this fucking douchebag right now. 'cause
Okay, but if
this
you can only
respect
choose
is
one.
going the fuck
If-
away.
If you can
are
only choose
twisting
one,
everything to try to make this argument. You are using me as a proxy to argue with yourself at
I
this
have-
point because
I
there
have
was
one
nothing
argument.
left in the fucking chamber except they're informants and they should be paid. When that
Yeah.
money goes to their fucking leadership to create the same goddamn thing they are fighting, that is fucking fraud. I don't
Well-
understand what the fuck you think that this is not fraudulent in any way. If I give you money and then you go out and use that to fucking create a goddamn rally in my backyard so
Did they
you can
do that,
fund
though?
off that same fucking event. What
Did they do
type of
that?
retarded shit do you actually have to believe to
show me in the
be
indictment. Show me in the indictment.
what
Everything you're saying
type
right now.
of fucking retarded shit do you have to actually believe this?
Show me it in the
Seriously,
indictment where they
how
said that they were
retarded do you
funding
have to?
rallies. Show it to
How,
me.
how retarded? They fucking said it.
You can't.
It's
You
going
can't show
to
it to me because it doesn't exist.
because it's in fucking evidence that will be in court. You stupid fuck.
They would have alleged it, no? In their indictment.
They're alleging it. They're going to show the evidence in court of how this fucking happened. We're not going to know until the case happens. Either
They
that
will-
or you risk fucking up your entire case. Do you understand the law process at all?
Dude, they allege that they
Holy
paid field
fucking
sources.
shit, dude.
That's
this
why they
is
called them
retarded.
field sources in the indictment.
You're
That's what a
fucking
field source
retarded.
is.
You are retarded as shit to believe this in any
Okay.
fucking way. You are absolutely 100% retarded to believe it's not fraudulent to take my fucking money because you claim you're fucking fighting racism and then create racist fucking shit in my backyard using my money to
Hold on.
raise off the same fucking incident. What
Do you
the
think-
fuck retarded shit are you talking about?
Do you think the Unite the Right organization didn't exist until they started getting funding from the SPLC or some shit? Like, they already existed. They're paying informants. That's why they call them field sources.
And they
Field
are
sources.
These
It's very
field
important word.
sources, these field sources are actually going out to these fucking rallies and participating and doing these things. They are planning them with my fucking money
Yeah, because
and
they're
then raising
undercover.
off the fucking shit that they're actually creating. Yes, that's called fraud because you say
Is it?
one thing and you do another.
I'm sorry.
That
to me,
is fucking retarded.
it is entirely
You
reasonable
are
to me
dumb
that if
as
you're
fuck to make this
infiltrating a
fucking
white supremacist
argument.
group, that you're going to have to pay some informants at some point, and if you do, it's not a big deal. That's not
You are
fraud.
dumb as
You're
fuck
not
to make
stealing
the
my money.
argument to say that my money
I'm not
to
making the
fight
argument.
racism. No, that
Cash
is
Patel's making the argument. I'm just reading
That
it.
is the fucking you stupid son of a bitch. Your argument is my money should be able to be paid out to these motherfuckers to fund and continue to do racial fucking shit in my backyard
Your
so
money?
they can
Were you
continue to
donating to these
fund off
guys?
this.
Were you
Actually,
donating
I
to them?
have given to SPLC in the past, yes.
Okay, and you didn't realize that they would be paying informants to get information for these lawsuits, even though it was popping up in the news all over the place.
Those informants giving these monies and funding these rallies and doing these things and getting the actual supplies for it paid for by my fucking money? No. Paying the informant, yes. The informant actually carrying out these actions under my fucking money because they're continuing to fund themselves off my fucking money is fraudulent. I cannot take your money off the guise of saying one thing and then doing the complete opposite with it.
Why
That
did you give them your money in the
is
first place?
Fraud.
Why did you give them your money in the first place? When you
Why
donated
did I
to
give them
SPLC?
money? Because SPLC has been around for a while. They've been around since the 80s.
That's the only reason you gave them money?
At one point in time, they were probably doing some fucking good. But at this point in time, the demand for fucking racism hasn't been there. And apparently, they've been creating this shit to cause the racism that they're actually fundraising off of
Even
as
the
they go
indictment doesn't
out
allege
and
that.
do these things, dude.
Even-
That is called fraud.
Even
I
the
don't know what
indictment
kind of
doesn't allege
fucking
they created
retard
these
shit
things.
you think.
Bring up the indictment. Show it to me. Show me what you're talking about. Prove it.
Prove
Show me
what?
Show me where they were alleging that the SPLC was directly funding rallies and things like that.
The gift cards were winding up in their fucking hands, dude.
Yeah. Like I said, show
Yeah.
me that they intentionally
Yeah, the
did
gift
that.
cards were winding up in leadership's hands. If leadership is actually the informants and they're the ones planning and doing all this shit to continue to raise off mine, that would be leadership instead of dismantling like you say you're going to do and shutting down the chapter. You continue to fundraise and create racist fucking shit all over the place so you can raise off that. That is called fraud. Yes. Yes.
Do you not
Yes. Do you
recall, like,
understand this?
do
Does
you
this
not-
click in your fucking brain?
Calm down, bro. You're turning purple. Like, take a breath. It's okay. Relax.
You're fucking retarded. I gave you respect up until you couldn't understand the fact that even if leadership is taking this money, they are continuing to push this shit. They are continuing to plan this shit. They are using my fucking money to plan these events to carry out so they can get more money from me because apparently there's racists all over the place that they created. Are
Wait,
you
so what-
fucking dumb?
So when was the last time you made a donation to the SPLC? Out of curiosity.
Last time I did that was 2015.
Okay, so the most recent allegation that I saw in this indictment was 2020. It's not your money. Why are you freaking out? It's not your money.
How long has this been going on?
This live stream?
See, no, you dumbass motherfucker. You think this is the first time this has ever happened? You think this is the only time this has ever
Well,
happened?
I know the first
only
time it's been
reason
alleged
federal
is
is because it
2020.
crossed state fucking lines.
I know the only time it's been alleged is after 2020.
So what am I freaking out about? Yeah, in 2015, my money could have been used to create the same goddamn shit that I've sitting here been raging out about.
I mean, if
So
you
I'm
believe that
funding
you
the
created
same
it,
shit that I'm pissed the fuck off about? That is called fraud, fuck. I don't
sounds-
give a goddamn what world you think you live in where this is not a fucking thing. That is fraud. That is intending to devise any scheme or artifice to defraud. You are intending to take somebody's money to create a racial fucking moment in their back goddamn yard so you can fundraise off that shit too. That is fraud.
It's not fraud.
Holy
What they were doing, they're
fucking
taking
shit.
money. They were
Holy
taking money.
fucking shit.
Calm down. Take a breath. It's okay.
Holy
They were
fucking
taking
shit.
money so that they could pay informants so they could get convictions, which we covered at the beginning of this. They got with that governor they tried to kidnap.
Holy
They
fucking
got
shit.
convictions off this information, right? So they're using the money to fight these hate groups. That's what the donations are for.
They're using the money to fight these
They're
hate
not
groups
stealing it from anyone.
by actually creating these fucking hate groups in our goddamn. Okay, you're
If you want
fucking
to be
dumb,
upset about
dude.
their banking practices,
You're
that's
fucking
fine.
dumb.
But you got to prove intent. That's the law. You don't like it, change the law. You don't like it, change the law.
And
Get in
that
there.
is the intent.
The intent
That
was to pay
is
informants.
intent. to
And
take
then they
my
got-
money and make racial fucking incidents in my fucking backyard just because you want to fundraise more off of that. That is called intent. Holy shit.
They take the money, they use it to fund informants so they
Oh
can
my
get
God.
convictions, which we already saw they did in Michigan. They did that in 2020. I'm sure there's more. I wonder if the guy
This
who
is
did the Unite the
California,
Right
ladies
rally,
and gentlemen. This
did
is
he get
California. This
found?
is how fucking retarded.
wait, when they
This is
figured out who
retarded.
did the Unite the Right rally and ran into that girl with his car, did they figure out who it was because of an SPLC informant? That's possible. I mean, this is the shit they're doing, but they don't want to advertise it because they don't want to endanger informants. You don't want to put the people
Oh,
giving
so
you the
now we're
information in
actually
danger.
going to take the whole fucking point of it's possible that it could have been an SPLC informant. Yeah, it's also
could've
possible
been.
that it could have been me too.
Did you?
No, was it an SPLC informant?
I don't know. Let's find out.
So to make that whole fucking argument means absolutely goddamn nothing.
Let me see if I can find.
You don't even know what the hell you're talking about anymore. You're just trying to say informant,
No, but
informant.
You wouldn't know because
If
you
these
don't want to tell who
motherfuckers
the
are
informants
actually
are, do
doing
you?
this shit to actually continue to carry these acts out so they can fundraise off it, that is called fraud. Because you are defrauding your donors. They are actually giving you this money to oh, it's informant. No, these informants are doing this shit. They're carrying out these acts.
So they
are
don't blow their
doing this
cover.
goddamn action.
So they don't blow their cover. And the information they give is used to follow through on lawsuits and get people put in jail for doing crazy shit like kidnap the governor.
Okay, so you're saying it's legal for a citizen to commit felony fucking crimes. Just
No,
to say.
I don't think I ever said that.
It's not legal now. Okay, so
That's
they're law
only if
enforcement. SPLC is law enforcement. Because you
SPLC
keep
is a
going back
private
to
organization.
stings. You keep going back to the whole
Yeah.
sting thing. You say it's a sting operation. That is law enforcement. Law enforcement can do that, not humans. You can only
Not
actually
humans.
no, not humans, not fucking civilians.
Yeah, they can. Journalists do it all the
No.
time.
N-
Journalists do it every day.
You mean journalists actually fucking set up a goddamn plan and make sure these motherfuckers carry out this plan? Is that what you're saying journalists goddamn do? They catch somebody with a plan that they fucking made?
They go get information. They pass it
What
along
goddamn
to people.
dumb shit are you
Investigative
on,
journalists
dude?
do this all the time, right? I watched an investigative journalist in Africa talking about like the modern slave trade, and within like a month, the UN was on that shit.
So from what you're claiming, journalists were created the slave trade so they can fucking report. That's what you just...
I didn't say they created shit. They investigated
Dude.
it and passed along the information. That's what the SPLC is
Oh my
paying informants to do, which you claim is fraud somehow. But I can understand.
And they're
you wouldn't want-
continuing to do this to push this racial shit so they can continue to fundraise off that. Yes.
Yeah, well, you
yes,
can do
yes.
more
They're not
good.
trying to do that. Even if they were in leadership, they could disband this fucking dismantle the fucking chapters and everything in there, and they can actually do some fucking good and stop racial groups from popping up. But no, because you want to carry it out, because you actually want to continue to make these things happen in America that drive people crazy. You fund the shit, and so you can fundraise off the shit. Yes, that is fraud. I don't
order
give a
for that to
fuck
be
what
fraud, you have to
worlds you think
agree
you
that they're
live
doing
in where
that.
that's not a thing. If you take it and put it into any other business, any other practice, I say I need your money because I'm going to build a rocket ship, and I wound up building a submarine. Did I or did I not defraud you?
What?
If I take your money and say I'm building a rocket ship, and instead of building that rocket ship, I built a submarine, did I not defraud you?
Yeah, probably. You did.
So
defraud someone
doing
in
the
that
same thing in this case is not somehow fucking fraud.
Wait, you understand that fight
Doing this,
hate
nope.
groups is
Doing
a
the
broad
same
term,
thing in this
right?
case is not somehow fucking fraud.
I contend that they're doing the
Doing
same thing in
the
this
same
case.
thing, no, you're actually going to answer the question. You're not going to
Okay.
jump around it. Doing the same thing just because you want to say they're paying informants, doing the same thing is not somehow fraud.
They're not doing the same thing, dude. I don't know what to tell you. It sounds
I
like
say
you're
I'm
the guy who can't
I'm
understand
fighting
this.
racism, but yet I actually use your money to continue to make these racial things happen. Yeah, that's called fucking fraud.
Wait, do you think
If I say I'm going to build a spaceship and I build a submarine, you said that was fraud. If I say I'm going to fight racism and I actually create these incidents in your backyard, that's not fraud.
That's
because I'm an informant.
No one's saying that they're
You're
using
dumb.
this money to fill it.
You're fucking dumb, dude.
Dude, I don't know what to tell you. You keep putting words in my mouth. I'm telling you, they're paying informants.
You have put words in my mouth the entire time. I am
how
just paraphrasing what the fuck your argument is this entire time.
I'm not saying anything about your argument because I have no idea what the fuck you're even arguing for, to be honest. You're just saying words at this point. But the informants are a useful tool for getting convictions.
You see this?
Convictions is how people go to jail. That's how you make real progress.
You see how they actually get caught up here, guys?
What am I
see
caught
how
up
they
in?
get caught
What
up
am I
in
caught
their
up in?
bullshit, and now they're
Teach
trying
me.
to backpedal. I didn't
Teach me.
do this. I didn't
Educate
do
me.
that.
What am I doing
I
wrong?
didn't
What am I
put
caught up
words
in?
in your mouth like you.
I've said the same thing this whole time.
I
I'm
didn't
sick of
know.
saying it.
No.
They are paying informants,
Dude, you've lost.
so that they can get convictions,
lost.
which
You
they
lost.
got.
There's no way in hell you can sit here and say that was not fraudulent in any fucking way.
I don't know
You've
what to tell
lost.
you, boss.
There's no way in hell you can make that fucking argument because that would not fly with any goddamn money, any goddamn body in a fucking court of law that was not purvied in any way for the jury.
So do you think that informants, if they inform on something, they get something in return for that, is that the police paying MS-13 and gangs like that?
And there would be a track through it all. There would be a way to find out every bit of how that money flew to everybody. It wouldn't just end at one fucking person, and then you find out that that money was actually given to other motherfuckers.
Yeah, if you
Through
gave it to
other means
motherfuckers.
instead of tracking the money.
But
Holy shit,
wait, hold on.
dude.
Show me in the indictment where the FBI says they were giving it to people other than the field sources. Who else was receiving this money? Show it to me. Bring it up on screen, please. Bring the indictment up on screen. I beg you. Show me it. Show me where they allege that.
Hold up.
Because they don't.
Hold up.
They don't allege what you're saying.
Was that or not in the fucking video that we showed at the beginning?
I already
He
told
said
you,
these
Cash
fucking
Patel can't
funds
even
were
fucking
winding
see a
up in
phone in front of
the
his
hands of the
face.
leadership. Was that? I don't give a fuck whether you believe him or not. That would have to be proven in court. And to make that fucking claim, if it is not proven in court, I will excoriate the motherfucker for it my goddamn self, like I have done before. Shut the fuck up and listen. Shut the fuck up and listen.
Show me where he makes
I
the
do
claim
not
in court,
give
dude.
You're not going to because that's called evidence.
You can't show it to me because
you
destroy your
stupid
argument.
son of a bitch.
You got nothing, bro. I'm sorry. You can't show it to me because you don't have it.
Since you're going to continue to keep talking over somebody to try to not listen to the fucking point, I'm going to mute you. You're acting seriously, like straight up like Destiny. Holy shit, this is fucking dumb, dude. This is fucking dumb. It straight up is. There is no way in fuck you can sit here and tell me that it is not fraudulent to actually take money saying you are doing something and then cause that very same thing you say you are fighting something and then cause that very same thing you are fighting. Shut the fuck up and listen for once in your pathetic existence you call life. Because like I said, that respect is fucking gone. I will not sit here and listen to some dumbass. You are literally sitting here saying the SPLC can create racial shit. You want the SPLC to create racial shit so they can catch people for the racial shit they create. There is no fucking way in hell that should be allowed. That is the fucking argument. And your dumbass is saying, no, they're informants that are doing the same damn things because they don't want to blow their cover. They're going to sit in there for years creating these things because they're fighting these things.
I could just unmute myself, dope.
And somehow that's not fraud. I
I'm
was
not alleging
waiting
any
for
of
you to
that.
figure that the fuck out.
I thought you were just going to unmute me. I thought you were going to be a good host. Sorry.
I'm not going to be a good host when you're sitting there trying to overtalk when I'm making a fucking point.
You're misrepresenting what I'm saying, though.
You misrepresented your damn self. All I did
said
was
exactly
paraphrase your
what I meant to
argument and link it to the other arguments that you've made to make
you gotta
sure
do a
that there's a
2-minute
chain
lead-in.
here
It's not
of
paraphrasing.
actual fucking thought, and there isn't. You're jumping to one thing to another. You're actually contradicting what the fuck you were saying, and then
I'm
you're
being pretty
trying.
consistent. I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
No,
though.
the only thing you've been consistent about, they're informants.
They
that
are
creating
That's
this
the whole
shit.
thing. That's
that
what this
are
whole case rests
creating
on.
this shit.
The whole case rests on the idea that they are funding hate groups and not paying informants. And the SPLC says they're paying informants. And the Trump White House, which is proven itself to be untrustworthy, is saying they're not.
Oh my God. So I can get a whole bunch of KKK members together and burn a fucking cross in your goddamn yard. And I'm paying informants, so it's allowed, right?
If that informant
Is that your
then turns
fucking
around,
argument?
If you turn around and you get convictions for the people who burned that cross with that informant's information, yeah, that's great. Awesome.
I'm the one that fucking did it. I planned it. I set it together. I put the fucking shit together, funded by you, and I burn a cross in your goddamn front yard. I should be allowed to do that with your money, right? And then fundraise off the same incident that I actually fucking made?
If you're going to inform on yourself and send yourself to jail, have fun.
You are fucking dumb, dude.
Dude, no one is saying that they are funding these organizations except the Trump White House. And it is the most convoluted thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. You can tell because you have to do like 5 minutes of preamble before you summarize my position.
The mental fucking jumping jacks you have actually done on this. The mental goddamn jumping jacks you have done.
It's very straightforward.
It's fraudulent if I build a submarine instead of a goddamn rocket ship.
The SPLC says they weren't doing that.
But yeah, it's not fraudulent if I burn a fucking cross in your yard.
Hold on. The indictment itself says they were paying informants.
Holy shit.
The indictment itself is dumb. The guy who
call
wrote
them
it is
informants. That's the way they were paying, by saying they were informants. Just because I say I'm informant, I can burn a cross in your front yard.
Then prove it. Then prove.
Holy
show me evidence.
Fucking shit, dude.
Show me evidence. I'm asking you to pull up the indictment.
They are
informants.
informants.
20 minutes.
Show me evidence they are informants. Show me evidence they are informants, because they haven't done that yet. That's going to be brought up in court.
We have those two convictions. Remember from the beginning of the podcast? The two convictions in Michigan.
You stupid son of a bitch.
We agreed that those guys should have gone to jail. And they went to jail partially because of these informants.
But, oh my
That's why we did all that groundwork to begin with, so we'd be on the same page.
Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. You're going to... The motherfuckers that went to jail because they were not allowed to say that the government was involved.
Only 2 out of 4. What about the other 2?
The other 2 got off because they were allowed to say the government was involved, you fucking retard. How about you look into the shit before you run your fucking mouth?
You said just now
we brought that up, and then you went off onto this. I told you about these cases, and then you're like, well, no, I'm talking about the ones who actually did something. I agreed with you and said I'm raging the fuck out about the ones who actually didn't do anything. And then you're like, well, fucking sucks for them. Yeah,
why are they in a group with a bunch of terrorists?
Goddamn judge makes sure you go to jail just for a political fucking win. It does suck for them, right?
Yeah,
so maybe these motherfuckers should be going down the same goddamn way.
If they were found innocent,
right? Political warfare, maximum fucking warfare. That's what you want because you hate Trump so much.
Let's Comey on like his 4th fucking indictment.
Let's send everybody fucking to jail. I'll create racial fucking incidences and then send your ass to jail for it. I can do it because I'm the SPLC.
You good?
You fucking retard. You're dumb. You're fucking
If you want to talk
dumb.
about weaponization of law enforcement, there's the sandwich guy that they couldn't even get a fucking conviction on. They couldn't even get an indictment on this motherfucker. We have James Comey, who's on his 2nd or 3rd goddamn indictment because they couldn't figure out how the legal system works. We got Schiff, who's still under investigation for mortgage fraud. Letitia James let her niece stay in one of her spare houses for a few months and paid rent. And she didn't check the box at the right time. And now she's apparently super criminal.
She also said that her dad was her husband in '83 to get a cheaper loan.
Who the fuck cares? I don't even know if that's true or not. I don't give a shit.
It's
That's
on
not what
the
they're
fucking
alleging.
document.
That's not what they're alleging in their mortgage
because it's
fraud
past
case.
the statute of limitations. There's nothing they can do about it, but it does.
But if you can't bring it up in court, then fucking prove it in court.
Yes, you can bring it up in court. You just can't charge for it. Okay, it proves intent.
Prove it in court.
And it proves a history.
It's so convenient that they can't prove any of these things that they're alleging in court because
it's also
X, Y reason.
It's also so convenient from these actual districts that go after and put up things like the E. Jean Carroll case or the bank saying we weren't defrauded in any way, but you're guilty anyway. Or the fucking case with Jack Smith that the same damn thing in Florida was in New York. He was found to be an illegitimate fucking special prosecutor because he
No, he
took
wasn't.
Yes, the fuck he was.
He wasn't found
He
to
took
be.
an oath of office for a lesser court or for a lesser position that could not take those fucking charges. Yes,
I
that's
don't think
how he
that's what
got
they alleged.
That's how he got past the
That's not even
confirmation
what they
process.
alleged.
Bull
They alleged that he
fucking
was 2
shit.
months late. They said no one saw you take it the day
Dude.
you did it, and he goes, "Yeah, I took the oath." And they go, "Well, do it again." And he
Dude,
did it again 2 months later.
do you follow any of these cases?
I follow some of them, yeah.
How do you follow them?
Generally, I see them on my feed. I generally hope that the government will do
Okay,
things
so you're
correctly,
actually
but
not looking at
recently
the
that has
documents that
not
are
been the
actually
case.
going in here. You're not looking at the transcripts. You're not going through that. I guarantee you best start looking that the fuck up.
Why would I look at these things that people are saying when they're not under oath? I want to hear what people say when
Not
they're
under oath. This is courtroom documents, motherfucker. These are the goddamn motions they're putting
Not
through.
the
These
video
are the
we watched to
documents
begin
they're
with.
pushing. This is a transcript of
Hold
fucking
it.
courtroom proceedings. What do you mean they're not under oath?
That video we saw at the
You're
beginning,
fucking
not
dumb.
under oath.
You are.
What are you talking
So
about?
I'm not under oath when I'm in fucking court.
You might be.
I'm not
It
under
depends, are you
oath when
sworn
I'm
in?
on fucking stand talking. Which, by the way, in that whole goddamn thing,
Hold up.
with,
Wait. You acknowledged that Kash Patel wasn't under oath with that speech he gave. We watched at the beginning, right? He wasn't under oath there. He could say whatever the fuck he wants.
speech and debate clause. Well, it doesn't fall under him for the FBI, but
Yeah, no, he's
he can
standing
say
outside
whatever
the FBI.
he can say
He's-
whatever
yeah,
he
he's a
wants to
private
actually
citizen.
say about his case. Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to hear what the fuck he
So
says in
can the
front of the news
SPLC
cameras.
claiming they're informants.
Yeah, they can say anything.
Okay.
But the indictment that we're looking at
So you're
says that these are field sources. And they'd say that the SPLC says they are informants. I need to see evidence that these people aren't informants. Because right now, what the
I
government
need to
is
see
alleging
evidence
is
that they
insane.
are.
Fine. So we're at an impasse because we're at the indictment stage. But the government does not have a good track record here. They're not the people I'm inclined to trust at this moment.
And I'm not inclined to trust somebody who's actually going to create racial incidences saying they're going to fucking fight them.
That's still yet to be proven.
Especially when the whole damn Unite the Right thing, the Charlottesville, is what actually made me wake the fuck up. Yeah,
Is
I
it?
was like you. I was
When the
dumb
president
enough to
said
try to
both sides are
argue
good,
without
but one
going
side
through
is
the
a literal
court
hate group?
documents. I was dumb enough to actually go through and just listen to what the fuck and try to argue with what the fuck I was told to fucking believe. Yes, I did that because I sat there and watched that shit. I watched Trump give that fucking speech. I watched him say that. And then the next goddamn day after work, I watched as the media fucking twisted every goddamn fucking word of it to be completely opposite of
They didn't
what the
twist-
fuck he said.
Wait, do you
And that
acknowledge
was-
this is the real quote? There were both people on both sides. That's what he said, right?
There were good people on both sides.
And what were the two sides? You had
We're gonna-
counter protesters
we're
and
gonna-
you
we're
had
gonna
the
fucking do it.
right.
We're
The
gonna
hate
fucking
group
do
that's
it.
in this lawsuit.
As a matter of fact, no, you know what? You know what? It's actually on our little rumble cut. Let me hit this.
So you know what? It's fine. You're changing history, you're changing culture, and you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. But you had many people in that group other than neo-Nazis and white nationalists.
And that's who the fuck he was talking about.
So if you
The
take
groups
away,
that were
wait,
there
hold
that
on.
weren't doing a fucking thing.
Well,
And
if
the
one-
news
if one
media
side
went
is a hate
fucking
group-
right. And
Hold
you
on.
went after his ass trying to
You
call
asked me a
him
question. Can I
racist
answer it?
because he was calling neo-Nazis fine people. Shut
Can
the
I answer your
fuck
question?
up.
Can I answer your question? Yo, he said there's fine people on both sides, not the racists. But when one side is a literal hate group, as mentioned in this lawsuit we're looking at,
He wasn't
the fuck
talking
is he
about
talking
the
about
hate
them?
group, faggot.
well then why didn't he just say one side? Because that was a whole
He
side
wasn't
right
talking
there.
about the hate group because those weren't the sides. The
Those weren't the
sides were the
sides.
protesters and the counter protesters. The
Yeah,
hate
who were the
group came in
protesters?
third.
Who were
The
the
hate group
protesters?
came in later. They
he
were
was
third
named after
party.
them. It's
Third
even
party
named
to
after
the
them.
entire fucking incident. And you want to blame everybody else for a third party.
Bro,
Dude,
the
what
rally is
fuck?
named after them.
Dude, what the
Unite
fuck?
the Right. It's a hate group. In this lawsuit, the DOJ even calls it a hate group. That was one of the sides. The Unite the Right rally for the Unite the Right group.
That they were funding.
According to you, not according to me,
According to the fucking indictment that's going to have a trial to prove.
which is one side, and they don't even make a logical case.
And you're
like,
sitting
oh
here
yeah, these
trying to
people
say
spent it on
it's
this,
not
and
true
spent it on
just
that.
because they say they're informants.
I'm
I'm
saying-
an
I don't-
informant. I can burn a fucking cross on your front yard, apparently. Holy fucking shit, that's retarded.
Yeah,
It's
no,
straight
no.
up goddamn retarded.
What's
There is
retarded
no
is
way in
the-
fuck you can argue this in any way without coming through looking like a fucking idiot.
What's retarded is just trusting the government, taking them at their word, or after they've proven they can't do any of this shit right. They spent like fucking 10 months failing to indict anyone. All of the people who were indicted under Lindsay Halligan's old district, all of
You
their
do
cases are in
realize-
danger of being thrown
you
out
do
because she
realize-
wasn't properly appointed.
You do realize the grand jury in these places that would actually have to be indicted for the people you're talking about is DC itself, right?
Yes.
So there's no way in hell, if I heavily lean Democrat like you do, there's no way in hell I would indict a Democrat for doing something that I agree with because he said Orange Man bad.
Okay, so now you just don't trust the legal system at all then. Because that's
I
the system
never
we got.
fucking have. I've been railroaded by the legal fucking system, asshole.
Well, it sounds like you just got fucked then. I don't know. Life must suck when you don't trust anything.
And you, holy fucking shit. Yeah, you're right. Life must suck when you don't trust anything, right?
Yeah.
You'd rather just trust that somebody says, yeah, they're informants. I'm just giving money to informants.
Well, you look
You'd
at their
rather
history.
trust that.
You look at the Trump administration's history.
Look at the SPLC's history. That they went and targeted every single conservative right-wing motherfucker that could have even been thought of right-wing and tried to pin them to Russia, tried to pin them to hate groups, tried to pin them just because they would say so, they would platform.
Do you think the
people
Russian indictment was bullshit?
Fucking
You think Russia was all made
Fuentes
up?
or Milo Yiannopoulos, just because they would have a conversation with them. They would, after these motherfuckers, try to paint everybody as racist, xenophobic, homophobic motherfuckers for absolutely no goddamn reason.
Well, they
Other
didn't
than
do
the
that
fact
to-
that you want to demonize one side so you can make them subhuman.
I don't think they did that to Destiny, and he talked to Nick Fuentes. So what's different about these guys that they're being
Destiny's
targeted?
a left-leaning figure. Why would the fuck you go after your own side?
I mean, some people say he's fucking right wing. I don't know.
Who the fuck says that?
A lot of people I meet, actually. A lot of the actual communists that I meet here in LA.
Oh my god. Well, then y'all are dumb. Too damn dumb. Because there's nothing right-wing about the dumb motherfucker.
But he likes guns.
It's just like, do you understand that during the BLM riots, Democrats were buying guns more than Republicans?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I bought more guns since Trump took office than fucking all of Tennessee. I promise you. Fucking-
Okay.
Yeah,
So
no.
you just made my point.
But who likes guns in general?
Everybody that wants to defend themselves.
Not everybody. Definitely not everybody.
You have leftists that are pro 2A.
Yeah, you do. I'm one of them. But not
Okay.
everybody.
Okay.
That is generally
Everybody who wants to defend themselves is pro 2A. Everybody who wants to defend themselves is pro gun.
okay.
Because what's the best and easiest way to defend yourself? A gun. Leftists bought more guns during the BLM riots than right wing did.
Maybe
and
that's
I'm
what
talking
the informants
about-
use the money
And
to
I'm
pay for.
talking about right wing is what you leftists, and you just said you were a leftist. The right wing is what you leftists actually think is right wing, which is everybody that doesn't agree with you.
When you
Because
say
I'm
leftist,
not
do you mean- hold on, hold
conservative
on.
in any way, but I guarantee you think I am.
When you say leftist, do you mean like communist or someone on the left?
I'm talking about the cult.
What cult?
I'm talking about the motherfuckers who do not think like you, who will not and refuse to go past first order thinking on these things to say, if A, then B. If A and not B, then C.
Well, no, I'm saying the
You
Trump administration
refuse
needs
to
to
say,
prove this.
you refuse to get off point A with this whole damn thing of they're informants who are doing this shit, who are
Yeah.
creating this shit, who
Well, hold
are
on.
making this shit happen
If
so
they
more
were-
funding
wait.
can come to fuck in. You are making sure that you have an existence.
If they were informants, would you agree that this isn't fraud? If they were using it as I allege,
If they were using it
the
as
money,
you
like as I
allege?
allege, they're using it to pay informants, and the informants were giving them actionable intelligence.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
but
so-
as he says, and
no, I
I'm
disagree
wi-
with you that they're
I'm
using
willing
it
to
to, fund
take
these
his word for it,
organizations.
and I know you're not, because it probably will come out in court. And if it is not in court, or it's a fucking horrible ass argument, I will excoriate the asshole for it too.
Okay.
But to sit there and say the whole damn thing, it's informants, so this is fucking shit, is goddamn retarded when the SPLC is the only person claiming they're informants.
The SPLC is the only one who would know, right? They're the
No,
ones paying them.
no.
Who else would?
If you're informants, you're giving information to the FBI. The FBI would know who the fuck you are.
Okay,
and they'd
you
be
know
able
we're
to
not using
clear it.
informants in that very specific government way, right? Hold on.
Okay. I do have Rumble Reigns. Thank you, Jennifer. That just popped up. Sorry, guys. Let me go do this real quick. Let's see. You got Jonathan for the dono here. No amount of evidence, definition, examples, legal jargon is going to change evil's mind. He just can't get past that point. Jonah again here. Evil, an unqualified real estate lawyer gets 2 grand juries to indict Comey and James, but a qualified seasoned career AUSDA could not indict with the same evidence. An unqualified real estate lawyer gets 2 grand juries to indict Comey and James, but a qualified seasoned career AUSDA could not indict one with the same evidence. I don't know the AUSDA one you're referring to there, Jonah.
Okay, I gotta go. The family needs. They call.
Okay.
Wi-Fi girl. But yeah, good debate.
Take
Good
care.
talk. Y'all
I
have a
have
great
to
day.
cut the side here. I'm going to finish up on the other side because we got to talk about Animal Farm.